Okay, Thorfire asked me to make a video showing how to take the tail cap assembly apart, change out the little switch boot, tail cap boot back here, and switch. So here we go. First of all, of course, you just unscrew the tail cap, put the rest of the flashlight aside, and then I use a little small pair of needle nose. You can use circlip pliers, or you can use a couple of nails rubber banded in the middle to form an X, just whatever, something like that. But down in here you can see there's a couple of little holes, one there and one over here on the opposite side. And what you're going to do is, with your pliers, circlip pliers, nails, whatever you happen to be using for this, you're going to place the end of them, one in this hole over here and one in that hole over there. Put some downward pressure. You're going to have to hold on to it pretty tight, and then turn counterclockwise, and it will start turning there. And then once that's broke loose, it should be a whole lot easier to turn, which it is. And then you just go ahead and unscrew this little brass ring here all the way out. Trying to keep this where you can see it. So once the brass ring is unscrewed, that will come right out of there. And just take that little brass ring out, put it aside, and then you've got the switch down in here. Sometimes you got to kind of turn this just a little bit, which this one's not. There it goes. Turn it just a little bit while you're putting just a little bit of pressure outwards, and that will pop right out. Once it's out, that little washer down in there should just fall right out, and then you're left with your rubber or silicone tail cap boot, and you can just take your finger and push that straight through, and it will come right out the other end there, and then you have a hollow tail cap. Once that's done, I've noticed that the extra end cap boots have this little post right here in the middle of them. That has to come out or it will not work right. What I do is just take and turn it wrong side out. I'm going to use the blue one. That's what I'm going to put in this light. I like the blue, but once it's turned wrong side out, you can use scissors or a razor blade or whatever, but that little post right there, you want to trim that as close to this as possible, but do not cut any further back than right here. You don't want to get into that, because then once you turn it back the other way, you'll have a hole in this if you cut too deep. So we're going to see if I can do this without messing this one up. I'm going to lay it down here. Just kind of take and carefully cut that out of there. Like I say, if you get too much, then you ruined it. There you have it. That's gone. Good and flush right there. And then just take and pop that thing right back out. And once that's done, just take and shove it right back in there. And make sure you get it seated all the way down in there. You can use a pencil eraser or something if your fingers are too big. But you get that seated right back in there just by pushing straight back. And it's seated down, and then you're gonna go in reverse order. First the silver washer, drop it in, just kind of tap it and it should lay flat in there. And then your switch, which they sent the extra, but I'm gonna just put the original in since it's still good. Just drop it down. Should be able to just seat it right there. It's in place. Then you want to be sure those little indentions or holes in that brass ring are facing you, because you can't tighten it, otherwise it won't thread back in. And sometimes this can be kind of a pain to do, because when you go to screw it back down, I don't know if you can see that, but it's really not stable. It's leaning one way, so you've got to get the pressure even and get this thing to set level to catch the threads. If you don't, you'll cross thread it. And it leveled up right there. And I'm turning the tail cap instead of the pliers, but you can do it either way. I'm just trying to do it where you can see what I'm doing here. But you just tighten this down, get it all the way back to the bottom, and once you get it down there, you want to get your tool that you're using back in those slots down in there. Put firm pressure downwards whenever you do this, and hold on to the tail cap good and tight, and then snug this thing down. You don't want to over tighten it, but you do want it snug down pretty good, because if it's not snug down good, then a couple of times getting the battery in and out of there, and it's loose and you got to go back and retighten the thing. So okay, that one's good and snug, and that should have the light working now. Once it's done, everything is just like it ought to be. And there you have it. And there's the little post that comes out of that tail cap there. A little post will keep it from functioning right. And that's about all I can show you on how to change the tail cap in the Thorfire TG06. Thanks for watching.